I think that our current system is completely unfair to the average person. I think that there's rich people who have gotten where they are at because of their hard work. But I also think that there are rich people who've gotten where they're at by lying, benefiting off of manipulations to get where they're at, whether it's human labor or market manipulation, like being a politician and having access to information that our government is going to invest in, and then you invest in that company knowing they're about to get paid a ton of money, and then their stock goes way up inside our trading. Like, yes, like we have a lot of corruption in this system. When we had the greatest wealth transfer in human history not too long ago, and it was continuing through the ramifications of inflation, high inflation in 2020, and we still are dealing with it in some aspects. But this is an unfair system. I seen somebody post something like, um, some college. It might be MIT. It might be some other college. But like, if you make over $200,000, you have to pay more for tuition. Like, if your family, if you make that much, like your family, which I think that we should start selling and trading, since like we have such a huge a, in a was it an income inequality currently. We're going to have to evaluate people's total value of all of their assets put together that goes along with their debts as well. So, like, perhaps we don't have the technology right now, but it would be amazing if we can develop technology where if you are born in a family of wealth, um, you are extremely privileged. And why should you have to pay the same for a hot dog that a common does? You should have to pay more because you have more access to. Is that fair? Well, it's not fair that you're born into this situation where you have everything handed to you on easy. Things were working pretty solid. You had the rich in the 90s, and you had the higher class, which I have no problem with the higher class. That's fine. Have your lavish lifestyle, whatever. Have your mansions and your yachts. I don't care. The problem is when you keep taking from us, when you outsource jobs and having and making us compete against slaves, it's absolutely ridiculous. The system is completely corrupt. And I don't think that it should be just like completely abolished. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement, and that's where I say is it's like we can improve the current system. There's no reason to just like abolish it and then just like replace it with nothing, with communism, and that's not what I advocate for. And some people might be like, "Oh, you sound like a communist." Well, like, if how can you compare uh Barron Trump to one of my kids? Like, my kids are like out here grinding. They weren't born into the most prestige situation. Um and is it their fault? No. Is it Barron's fault that he was born in that situation? No. But he does have a higher privilege than my kids. And it's not I think there's a lot of people that conflate race privilege with wealth privilege. Um, there's hardly any benefits to work. That's what. That's how it is. It's just basically, um, what they call health benefits. Like, how is my health benefit a benefit to me? If prices are so exorbitant that I have to pay 13 grand for a deductible next year, before they will pay for anything. And to top it off, I have to pay $100 copays. It might even gone up, honestly, with the copays. I didn't even look. I was just like, I'm hell bent on canceling this. I know everything's going up, and I don't need. Hopefully, it's almost like if some type of catastrophe does happen to me, I'm going bankrupt anyway, dude. So it doesn't matter if I have health insurance or if I don't have health insurance. They're going to take care of me. They're gonna take care of us if we're sick, regardless. And if like they want to go ahead and make me pay $50,000 because I need some antibiotics because I have to go to the emergency room because I don't have health insurance, then I guess that's what I'm not gonna ever pay it. You think I'm just like our national debt? I'm never gonna pay it. Like, what do you want? Like, it's unreasonable. Like, it is so like there seems to like be no competition when there's all these different health companies out here. I'm all for doctors getting paid what they deserve. They should get paid good. But like, what about these CEOs? Why are they getting paid 8 figures? Like, why? Now, if the health insurance was great for us, that's cool for them to make that much money. Cool, but it's not. What happened to that CEO? I'm shocked it hasn't happened before that. And I'm hearing things that he might have testified against Nancy Pelosi and some type of thing coming up. I don't know. I just seen somebody comment. I don't know if it's real or not. Definitely does not look like it. Definitely looks like it was a hit though. But what I'm saying is like, this is where you drive people when you deny people's claims when they are paying for your service, they're paying for protection, and you deny them, perhaps putting them into bankruptcy when they're already paying you. Or somebody, you deny their health care, and then when their loved ones passes away, what do you think they're going to do? Like, these choices affect people's lives. And if you're going to put profits over people, what do you expect people are going to start putting themselves over your profit? People are just going to be like, okay, dude, you want to mess around? And I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that people should do that. I don't think that people should be violent. But I'm just saying, like, that's what you drive. Like, this is what happens when you just take and take and take and don't give anything back. And that's where we're at. Like the common worker. Like, you just keep taking from us. First it was our pension. Our pension's gone. Now we replace with some 401ks, like some type of savings account. That's a hybrid stock trading account or whatever. But it's like, what are you replacing? Like, what are you doing? Like, every single year when I was paying for health insurance, I knew whatever raise I would get from the company when it comes to like standard of living increase, that goes directly to my health insurance every single year. So I never even got a raise. How am I getting a raise if everything is going up? It's not a raise. Like, the working class hasn't had a raise in forever, man. Like, yes, our wages have gone up, but so has everything else. We really haven't had a raise. We see everybody getting bailouts but us. And you can say, oh yeah, you got stimulus too. Yeah. We had to actually go to work when everyone else had got to stay home. And people got paid more to stay home than we did to go to work. How was that fair? How was that fair? I had to go to work because I was an essential worker, and people got paid more to stay home than I did to have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is why we're at where we're at when they did that. So, like, I am not a communist. I might sound like it at sometimes because I just want, like, a fair system. I don't think a communist is a fair system because the people at the top are still oligarch elites that are dictators who live lavish lifestyles. So, like, communism is just dumb. You don't see, like, the leaders having the same lifestyle as, like, a janitor. They're always, like, higher up, protected people. Like, like, they don't live, like, in squalor. So, like, It's pretty absurd, our system. Like, honestly, like, if we can make something where it can calculate, when we go make transactions, it calculates how much net value you have when it puts all your assets up in like some type of, here's your net worth. Well, here's your net worth, man. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, and it doesn't matter this actual price. You're well off, so you have to pay more for this, as opposed to somebody who's barely making it, possibly having to work 60 hours a week just to pay their bills. You should have to pay more than that. I'm sorry, man. They're actually, you are a place, you're coming, and I'm not talking about just taking somebody else's money and just like get like, there comes a limit. We have to have like, you can only have so much power then. You can't just keep having all the power, because monopolies happen. People will monopolize. Like, if Elon just has every single industry off of his X app, what happens? He has complete control, just like in China with their app. We don't want that. We need competition. If he wants to start acting up, then we can go somewhere else. We don't have that with the dollar. Like, the dollar is just, okay, I seen a post where people posting, and I actually fell into this trap. I was it was many years ago, I was at the warehouse, and somebody said something, and I was like, that does make sense. And then I was like, no. Like, if you gave, there's 8 billion people in the world, if you gave $1 million to each person, it's not going to be $8 billion. It's going to be $8 quadrillion. So like when these numbers just get so astronomical that they're just confusing, you have to replace the currency because it's too inflated. It needs to be easier to understand, more simple. It's too complex for average, for us to be paying our bills and managing everything. It's just like, it's too complex, man. There's too many numbers. We need it more simple and basic. So yeah, I and I was thinking too. I was thinking about Bitcoin earlier, and I was thinking, if these companies and like these rich people and the government start buying up Bitcoin en masse, how much is actually out there? And it said, I did a Grok search, and it said 1.7 million Bitcoin are on exchanges. So what would happen, hypothetically, if our government decided to buy up 1 million Bitcoin? The supply of the tradable Bitcoin that isn't like stashed in somebody's wallet, so you can flip. So I can take the Bitcoin, and so I could take Ethereum and flip it into Bitcoin. So you can actually work. If there's no supply of Bitcoin out there, you won't be able to use it. It'll just be like, there's nothing for me to. It's so scarce. There's no usability. So people have to sell. So at some point, the price will get so high that people will have to sell. You know, like if all these governments just go and buy all the reserve Bitcoin, the price would skyrocket. And like I said, it would cause people to sell because like they would have to take winnings, man. There's no reason to just hold it like that. There's no usability. There's no utility left if we can't use it. If you can't like use it in different aspects, you know. I look at it as a store of wealth, store of value. If it gets high enough, I have no problem selling Bitcoin. You know, and it might be one of these assets that go to zero. It's a speculative asset, just like anything else. Like gold could go to zero. Like honestly, like if Bitcoin takes over gold, I'm looking at things. I'm looking at the way things are lining up, and unless Trump's been lying, which I don't think so, because he put a pro crypto person in some, like, I forgot what the role was, but like he seems to be very pro crypto. So that tells me that crypto is going to have a lot of value going forward, and the king of crypto is Bitcoin. So um you I look at Bitcoin as like the best asset for me. It's performed the best, and I think I think it's possible. Like, honestly, I think it's completely plausible that I wake up and, like, who knows, in the next year, and I wake up and all of a sudden Bitcoin's $1 million. I just like wake up and I look at my wallet and I'm like, what? It just happened overnight because the supply is diminished so much that the price went so high. So this would cause people to sell because the price is so high. And the longer we can go without anybody moving any Bitcoin, the higher the price is going to get. So who knows how high the price can actually get? And who knows how fast it can get there? Like, the price of Bitcoin can get absurd. And it might only happen for a little bit, but it can really it can get absurd. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if, like, this is the bottom. If we're in a bull market, obviously, but like when we go through economic pressure coming up, I think it's going to cause people to sell Bitcoin. Like, for me, I'm pretty much at this point where I'm just like, I don't care about the other projects, the other crypto projects. As long as I have some Bitcoin and some Ethereum going forward, it doesn't even have to be that much. At least as long as I have a little bit, I feel like it'll be very beneficial for me and the people I care about. I don't have to have that much, man. Just, like, you got to start somewhere. The best way to do is start somewhere and just start accumulating it slowly. Just slowly accumulate it. So it's definitely a interesting asset, and I potentially, like, I've always had this, not potentially, but I've always had this mindset where, like, the last 10, 15 years, and I thought to myself, like, I'm never going to be able to retire. I haven't been able to put any money away for I've never been able to put money in a 401k. I've always had to, raising a family on my own, I've always had to allocate all my expenses, all of my bills, all my money towards my bills. So I haven't, until like 2016, when I started to leverage debt. I'm not gonna lie, I started to leverage debt. And then, like, right now, like, I have a absurd amount of debt, which I'm looking at things and I'm like, yeah, like, it was necessary for me to handle this debt, to custody this debt, right? Because I didn't know, like, which way we were going as a country or the future. But it looks like crypto has a very promising future. So, I feel more comfortable selling all my gold and silver, and then just like for me, I don't need it. I don't need that. I'd rather pay off my debt, like some of my debt, with my gold and silver, and some of my crypto projects that I was invested in, some of that money too, pay down my debt, then, like, continue to, like, double down in the crypto market. I think, like, the way the cycles have gone with the bull runs, it's like, if you invest, then not the current bull run. and not the next bull run, but the one after that, you're really gonna benefit. Because what makes me think that is, like, if I would have invested in Bitcoin in 2016, let's say, like, at the first of the year, I think it was like a couple $100 for a Bitcoin. So like, if I would have bought a couple of Bitcoin back then, obviously they'd be worth like $200,000 right now, and maybe they're only a couple $100 a piece back then. So that's 10 years. That's like less than 10 years. That's less than 10 years, you know? So, this isn't financial advice. I'm not giving anyone financial advice. I'm just talking about like what I'm doing, what going forward, what I'm doing, and because like, think about what people have to understand is like, we're going to Mars, right? Soon there's going to be humans living on Mars in my lifetime. Now, what are you going to use for transactions in that new society? Probably crypto. You're not going to use gold. You're not going to send gold and silver on ships to Mars. But if you can have a network connection where you can have the internet through Mars, like connect Mars with the internet, you can use crypto. So like, moving to a new country, how much of a hassle is it packing up everything you own, moving stuff, and you can't even like move a bunch of gold or silver, like hypothetically, even if you have that, to another country without having any type of problems. You can't just take stacks of cash with you. Well, I can go anywhere in this world and I'll have my value as long as I have access to my crypto. But I have to have a off ramp, and we need some type of. And the stable coins seem like they're okay, but I'm not too sure about our dollar, and that's the thing. So, there'll be some type of stable coin that our government issues, central bank digital currency for sure, where you know, like, yeah, you pay for the fees of the transaction, but you also pay the taxes. So they'll probably end up having some type of national sales tax, which you won't be able to really feel. It'd probably be less than a penny, honestly. So you don't even be able to feel it. And like the whole income tax thing, like having to get a preparer or like prepare myself, and like, dude, I don't care about income tax. Like, it's always consistently something coming up. Like, I always have to do something. Like, okay, every year I got to get my taxes done. I have to have all this stress and all this anxiety, getting everything prepared, make sure that my tax preparer has everything and I don't forget anything. It's absolutely absurd, man. Like, it's an absurd system that was good back in the day, but we're like way past this crap. So yeah, transferring data. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm not feeling the greatest, but I definitely want to make a video talking about, like, yeah, definitely rich people should have to pay more for common services, because they don't, like, a lot of these rich people, they don't even have to do anything to, like, they're already well off. So it's just like, you didn't even really have to put in much work to get the money anyway. A lot of people are just handed. They're just handed. Like, okay, let's talk about these leftists. Why are these leftists so out of touch? Because their parents probably are enabling them, and all these people don't need the survival skill of common sense. Why do people lack so much common sense? Because it's a survival skill. Just like street smarts, it's a survival skill. It's a form of intelligence. These people don't know it, so that's why a lot of these people on the left are communists, because like, that's the environment they're raised in. They're raised by helicopter parents that do everything for them, pay all their bills. They don't have to worry about this. So it's just like live in some like utopia of a child, which is great when you're a child, but it's not good when you're an adult. Sometimes, at some point, you have to grow up and take responsibility, which I know I sound like I'm a contradiction idiot complaining about responsibility, but I just think that we can reform things so they're better and they're easier, so I don't have to think about it. Like, who wants to sit here and think about their taxes? Who wants to have like, I don't want money taken out so you can give it to me back at the end of the year. I don't want that. I want to keep my money. I want to see my money now. And in fact, I want my money. I want to get paid every single day. I want to get paid every second. I want to be able to go on break wherever I work. I see my wallet. I see money's gone in there since my work, what I've done, started out the day. And I'm like, okay, well, this gives me motivation to stay longer, work harder, because I see the result. I don't have to worry about a week from now, a couple weeks from now, a month from now. Some people get paid like that. Or like the government takes my money and then tries to give it back and then gives it back to me. What's the point? Like, what are you doing? Like, just don't take my money to begin with, and eliminate some of these jobs. I'm just wondering, like, why I even have to pay taxes. Like, you don't make people on welfare pay taxes. You don't pay taxes on their welfare. This is kind of a joke, but like, yeah, like, I'm basically almost living, the same lifestyle these people are. So why do I have to pay? Like, I'm more beneficial to society because I'm productive, and they're not. Society isn't having to pay for me to exist. These people are like, we're paying for these people to exist. In some circumstances, some people need to be taken care of, no doubt about it. But there's a lot of people that have made poor choices that we're not their daddy. They need to figure it out, and hey, maybe you should stay with the baby daddy. Maybe you should get married. Maybe you should make wiser choices. I don't know what to tell you, man. If you can't provide for your kid, then you don't have your kid no more, and we're going to make sure you can't have any more kids. I don't know what to say. Like, if you're not going to bring kids in a good situation, don't have kids. These people on the right that are sitting here, I don't know what's happening. Like, they're obsessed with population decline. It's like, why? Why are we declining in population? There isn't much benefit for us. These rich people don't know. They're out of touch. No, have kids, and the funny thing is, people tell, that's fun, that's cool. Tim Pool finally is having a kid, and people like him and basically everyone on his show, they don't have kids, and they're telling everybody to fucking have kids. It's like, you don't even have a fucking kid, and you're well off. Who are you to tell other people to? It's so stupid to me, the whole concept of just have kids, even if you're poor. It's like, okay, we're poor, now we have kids. Now we don't have no time for them because everything costs so much, and we both have to work, so we don't have no time for our kids no more. Somebody else is raising them. We're paying somebody else to raise our kids. Oh, finally, like in my circumstance, they're in school. There's a baby. Like, I got this time. I can go to work. I don't have to worry about them being left alone. They're being indoctrinated. They're being indoctrinated to be communists. So it's just like, what are you people talking about? Like, what, do you not live in reality? Do you not understand, like, this concept of, like, both parents having to work and how much damage that does to a child? How much, like, oh, wonder why mental illness is, like, so high nowadays. I don't know. Maybe because, like, the kids don't feel, maybe because there's an abandonment issues, that the kids aren't loved. They ain't given a love. When they're young, they aren't given attention. And you wonder why they're messed up. And then these people are just like, just go have kids. We ain't have enough kids. Oh, well. If we ain't have enough kids, we ain't have enough kids. Who's going to suffer? That's the old people. That's their problem. Maybe they should have saved more money. Maybe they should have thought about their future a little bit more instead of just thinking, like, I'm going to have all these marriages and all these kids out of different marriages. Maybe they should have done things differently. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you're not paying attention. You live in some, like, ultra reality. What we have now is completely unsustainable. It's unsustainable. We can sustain it for a little bit, but then it's going to completely implode at some point. And the implosion, the longer that we keep this from imploding or going off a cliff, it's going to be a harsh reality, a harsh landing, a depression style. So we want to avoid that. And these booms and busts need to stop.